Hi, this is Joseph from the Crystal Gemcast. On this episode of Steven Reviewniverse, I'll be discussing the recent episodes Super Watermelon Island and Gem Drill. And as always, beware of spoilers. The first review will start in 5. Steven Universe as a show has been seeding plot elements for some time now, planting ideas and episodes that don't seem important at first, but later show up to ruin someone's day. In this episode, some of the chickens come home to roost, as the watermelon Stevens, the Island from Island Adventure, and Malachite return to the show. The watermelons now live an idyllic existence on the island, which is threatened when Malachite breaks free from Lapis's control. Now Garnet, Amethyst and Pearl have to take Malachite down, leaving Steven and Peridot with a drill, but when their fusion Alexandrite is in trouble, Steven has to astrally project into a melon Steven and get them to join the fight. The main aim of this episode of the show is to give some spotlight to Alexandrite, and to wrap up the Malachite thread, something the episode does very competently. The big fight scene is very well paced, impressive to watch, and gives all participants something to do. Malachite is a fearsome fusion, with her multiple arms, high physical speed and strength, and her water powers completely throwing Alexandrite off guard. And Alexandrite is no slouch herself. This is her first real fighting appearance, as last time she was just part of Steven's ruse and fusion cuisine. And the way that she uses all of Sugalite's, Opal's and Sardonic's weapons to defuse Malachite helps give Alexandrite more of a personality in herself, even if she seems to be a composite of her components. The other major aims of the episode were to bring back the Watermelon Stevens and create a situation that separates Steven and Peridot from the rest of the team, and once again the episode succeeds in the task set for it. The major issue with the episode, however, is that it's so crammed full of story elements that it lacks room to breathe. This leads to the episode feeling cramped and almost perfunctory at times, the fighting being fun but not nearly long enough to meet the expectations built up since Chili Teed. So while Jasper is separated from the gems and will probably return later on when the time is right, the defeat of Malachite seems almost too easy, despite Garnet's defeat of Jasper and Jailbreak taking the exact same time. This is not to say the episode's bad, far from it. It's definitely a good episode, and a reasonable first part of a 2-part story. But it lacks some of the elements that the best episodes have, and feels just a bit too cramped to put it in the upper tiers of the Steven Universe canon. I recommend it, but be aware that it may not hold up as well by itself. If Super Watermelon Island was the big action-packed first half to a story, then its second half, Gem Drill, is a much more of an insular and thoughtful episode. With the rest of the team trapped on the island and no way to get to a warp pad in time, it's up to Steven and Peridot to drill down to the cluster and try and stop it from forming before the Earth is destroyed. But when they get there and attempt to destroy it, Steven begins to feel a strange sensation and gets pulled into the cluster to speak with the fragments inside. One of the most interesting elements of the episode is the way that it puts a bow on Peridot's major character development, something that's been happening gradually through the last bunch of episodes. Peridot admits to Steven in a quiet moment that although she misses Homeworld, she now has something better in Steven than the Crystal Gems, and when Steven feels like he's going to die, his first instinct is to tell Peridot that he loves her. Peridot's actions and message received may have put her on their team, but it's in this episode that we know that she's become part of the family. The rest of the interactions between Steven and Peridot are also great. Both Shelby Rabara and Zach Callison do some great work in making the duo feel close and puncturing the tension at certain points through some funny lines. The other major development is Steven's connection to the cluster. The episode does a wonderful job of convincing us of his pain as the duel tries to destroy the cluster, his empathic powers eventually bringing him in contact with the gem fragments inside and convincing them to work together to avoid forming. When put next to his preceding episode, it shows that while there may be a time for fighting, there's also times when understanding can achieve the seemingly impossible. It's yet another connection between Steven and his mother Rose Quartz, how they both made efforts to understand others. Finally, the episode has a good pacing to it, the thoughtful tone permeating it and giving it a feeling of space. Everything unfolds at the right time and doesn't feel rushed. Gem Drill is a great episode, and unlike its predecessor it works just as well by itself as it does sandwiched together. It's a great finale to the cluster arc, at least for now, and it sets the scene for the rest of the In Too Deep event in the Summer of Steven. It's definitely recommended. But what did you think of Super Watermelon Island and Gem Drill? Please let us know in the comments or on our Facebook listeners group, the links are in the description. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe and share. Also please check out the Crystal Gemcast, our analytical podcast about Steven Universe at crystalgemcast.com. Have a great day and keep Beach City weird.